Looking for versatile floral cards to brighten anyone's day? Join me as we dive into the Flowers of Beauty stamp set, creating stunning designs perfect for any occasion. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nancy Novak, and today we'll be using the Flowers of Beauty stamp set. This stamp set is packed with beautiful floral images and coordinating dies, making it a must-have for any card maker. We're going to focus on the dies that cut out two adorable little flower shapes, and that's these two images, these two dies right here. Plus, I'll show you how to pair this set with the Unbounded Love sentiment stamps to create three unique cards. So like I said, all three cards are primarily going to be using this die here, which cuts out 8 large little flowers and 8 tiny flowers. And look at what I've been doing. So I have just been going crazy cutting out all these little flowers, and I created 3 different cards. So for the first one, we have a card base of white, and then I have 2 layered pieces in the Calypso Coral, one for the inside and one for the front. And then I have a white piece for the inside and a white piece for the front. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to emboss the front, and I'm going to use the Distressed Tile embossing folder. So that's going to give us some pretty texture, and then we're going to create a real pretty floral design. So let me emboss this. I'm going to fast forward, so I will be right back. Okay, so it has very subtle texture on it. And then I went ahead and I already cut out the green sprig, and let me show you that die. So here are the dies, and it's this long, tall one right there. So I cut that out of Old Olive, and then I cut out a bunch of those little flowers, and I cut them out of Calypso Coral and Petal Pink. So I already glued a bunch of them together, and I saved a couple to do with you so you can see how I do it. So for this one, I have a large flower in Calypso Coral and a smaller flower in Poppy Parade. And then I have a large flower in Petal Pink and a small flower in Calypso Coral. So I'm just going to glue those two together. So I'm gluing the small piece to the large piece. When you cut these out, you're going to notice there's a right side and a wrong side. And it's very easy to tell the difference. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the small piece. Since I'm gluing a couple of them, I'm going to bring the other small piece in and use up some of that glue. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the larger flower. And there you go, just like that. So I have all of these already done. And throughout the whole video series, I have most of the flowers all put together for you. But that's generally how you do it. You cut out the small flowers and large flowers, and you put them together. And you don't even have to put them together. You're going to see as we continue on, I just use some of the bigger flowers. Now, let's go back to the stamp set one more time, because it does so much more than this. And like I said, I'm just focusing on all these pretty little flowers. I had so much fun doing this. But the stamp set is a 2-step stamp. So it has large flowers, it has medium-sized flowers, it has smaller stems and tiny flowers, and it's two steps. So that means you have an outline flower, and then you stamp again with a filler flower, and you can make it whatever color you want. I do have another video out using this set. I just want to make sure that you know that it has all of these great stamped images, and they can all be cut out with the dies. But again, we're just focusing on these pretty little flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this stem, and I'm going to put it right on our embossed white piece. And after I glue something like this, I like to blot it on my silicone mat and get the extra glue off. And I'm just going to put it on our white piece, kind of on an angle. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto our layered piece. Then I'm going to glue this onto the card front. Okay, now I have all of these pretty little flowers that we created, and some of them I'm going to pop up and some of them I'm just going to glue down. I'm just going to kind of lay them on the card, and since this looks like it has 2 stems to it, I'm going to put all of one color on one side, and then I'm going to put the lighter one on the other side. that's just that's just what I want to do, just because I think it's going to look kind of cool. It's going to look like there's one stem of flowers this way and one stem. You could totally mix them up. You can use whatever colors you like. I am using orange and pink for this card because that is my favorite summer flower, is oranges and pinks. I love to do geraniums in that color scheme. So I was creating a summer card, so that's what I thought I would do. So I'm going to do something like that. And actually, I think I'm just going to glue them all down rather than pop them up. And I think I'll pop up our sentiment when we get to that. So I'm going to glue these down real quick, and I'll fast forward. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then ahead of time, I went and I cut out these two circles. And these two circles are from the Unbounded Beauty die set and stamp set. That's what I'm going to be using for the sentiment. So the Unbounded Beauty are all sentiments, and there are so many, great for all different occasions. And it comes with the coordinating dies that help accent your sentiment by the pretty little cutouts that you can use. So for this one, I'm just going to use the two little circles, and they have little stitched edgings around it, so they're really, really pretty. And I'm going to bring in one of the stamps from the Unbounded Love set, and I'm going to bring in Old Olive ink. I'm just going to glue these two together, and then I'm going to pop it up on a dimensional and put it right down there on the front of our card. Okay, isn't that pretty? So this card is basically meant how the dies and the stamps were meant to be used. I have a couple of cards that are coming up just with a little bit of variance there. I think you'll like just a little bit of unique style to them. So for the inside here, we're going to go ahead and stamp Happy Birthday. So I'm going to stamp that in Old Olive. And then I'm going to glue all of this and put it on the inside of our card. And then I have a couple of extra flowers here. I think I'll add a couple to the inside. So there is card one. It's very, very pretty. That texture is just pretty with the flowers. And then a nice little happy birthday sentiment. Okay, so for card two, again, we're going to use the colors of oranges and pinks because that's what inspired me to make these cards. So I have a Calypso Coral card base, and then I have a white piece for the inside, a white piece for the front. This is a little piece of designer series paper. It comes in the 6x6 pack. Then I went ahead and I cut out the little sentiment holder, as I like to call it, and that's from the Unbounded Love set. And we're going to use one of the sentiments from the Unbounded Love. And again, we're going to use some of those pretty flowers. So I have a couple of the flowers already done, but I want a couple more. So I just wanted to show you how I'm going to cut them out. So this is the larger flower, and I just have a little scrap here. So I'm going to cut 2 or 3 larger flowers out. And here's a scrap of Calypso Coral and the smaller die. And I'm just going to cut out a couple more flowers, and I'll be right back. Okay, so there's the larger flower. And then you just have to poke them out. They fall right out. Real simple, real easy to do. So it was not hard to cut out all these flowers. You just have to pick the colors of flowers that you want to make, and they pop out just like that. And the little flowers have a little dot in the middle, that just a little dot like that. Well, I poked them all out because when I layer them, you can kind of see the other color behind it, and I just think it looks really like a finished flower. You don't even have to put an embellishment on it if you don't want to. So I'm just going to glue these two together, just kind of offset them a little. And again, there's my little flower. Okay, so for this one, we're going to do a partial embossing on it. So I have my front card layer, and I have the eyelet embossing folder, and I'm just going to lay it in. So I have about 2 inches at the top out of the embossing folder, and I'm just going to run it through the machine. So we're going to have texture down here and nothing up here. So let me run that through the machine. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so we have texture down here, and it's just the blank cardstock up here. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in our little sentiment piece, and we're just going to lay it down. We're going to dry fit it, and then we're going to bring in Calypso Coral ink, and we're going to stamp Happy Birthday. So I have that in there just so I can know where to stamp my Happy Birthday sentiment. And I don't want to glue it in case I make a mistake. Perfect. Oh, that's so pretty, that color combo. So now I can go ahead and glue this little green sentiment holder on. And when you have something fine like this, the silicone mat works perfectly to get that extra glue off. And we're just going to lay it right around our sentiment. Okay, now I'm going to bring in that little piece of Designer Series paper, and I'm going to lay it right across the top there where the embossing meets the plain cardstock. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm here every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the front of the card, and then we're going to add some flowers to the front. Okay, so we'll bring in some of these flowers that we die cut. So I'm going to put one down here. I'm just going to glue it. And then I'll put a couple up here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the inside, just deciding what sentiment I want to put in here. I think I'll put "May all your wishes come true." Bring back in Calypso Coral. Very, very pretty font on this sentiment. And we'll just put that to the inside of our card. There is card number 2, half embossed. We have our pretty flowers and a beautiful little sentiment inside. Okay, we have one more card to make, but I just want to remind you that I always provide you with a project sheet with all the sizes and supplies and shopping links. And the way that you get that is just sign up for my newsletter, and then I will email it right to your email address. And I email those out on Wednesday right after my video. So about 8 o'clock, you'll see that project sheet coming to your email completely free. You don't have to search for it. Just sign up for my newsletter, and I automatically send it out to you. So let's do card number 3. This one is going to be fun. It's going to be a rainbow of colors. So I'm going to still have my Calypso Coral card base, and I have 2 white pieces for the inside and 2 white pieces for the front. And then I have a scrap of Calypso Coral and a scrap of white. Okay, so for the front we have 2 pieces, a larger white piece and a little bit smaller white piece. First thing I'm going to do is emboss this with the eyelet embossing folder. Okay, I'm going to bring my cutter in because I want to cut this on an angle. So I'm going to put the top of it at 1 inch and the bottom of it at 2.5 inches. Just like that. Okay, so now I have my 2 pieces. I'm going to take this bottom piece and I'm going to cut it just a little bit shorter. So all I'm going to do is take this line right here, and I'm going to cut it at 1/2 inch. But I'm going to show that to you one more time before I cut it. I just want to make sure you're clear on that. So we had our white piece that we embossed, and then I put it in my cutter, and I put the top corner at 1 inch, and then the bottom corner at 2.5 inches, and I cut it, and I got these 2 pieces. I'm going to keep the top piece, but this piece I want to cut off a 1/2 inch more. So I am going to line this angled edge up at a 1/2 inch, and just cut it. I tried to make that easier for you by cutting it just one time, but it didn't work out for me. So I think this is the easiest way to do it. It's quite easy. Just follow my directions and you won't have a problem at all. And I wanted to create a nice gap in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces to our larger white piece, and there'll be just a little teeny tiny border all the way around. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the front of the card. And so this card, like I said, is going to be a rainbow of colors. So I have a bunch of flowers that I cut out ahead of time, and I'm going to match them up, and they're going to be in the colors of the rainbow. And I will have all of the colors, I'll say large flower, small flower, on my project sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and match all of these colors up and glue them together, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I have all the flowers glued together. I also put a mini dimensional on the back. And now I'm going to bring in our little scraps here. And I'm going to bring in the die from the Unbounded Love. And I'm going to use this die right here. I'm going to cut one out in Calypso Coral, and I'm going to cut one out in the scrap of white. Okay, so I wanted to do that with you so I could show you what happens. What do you get when you cut that out? So you get the outside layer, which has this little pretty design, and then you get the inside layer. Okay, so you get the outside piece and you get the inside piece. We're going to use the outside of the Calypso Coral and the inside of the white. Okay, also with this set, we have these two pieces, and I'm going to cut the larger one out of the Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to cut a small one out in white, and those are going to be for our sentiments. So let's stamp the sentiments, and then I'll show you how to put this card together. It's so pretty. So I'm going to stamp the sentiment for this card in black. And on this piece here, I'm going to stamp Faith. And then on the little banner piece is being sure of what we cannot see. So I'll put this together and I'll show you up close what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and put the flowers off to the side for a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this fine piece down. I blotted the extra glue off on my silicone mat. I'm going to lay that down just like that. Actually, it has to go the other way. I'll tell you why in a second. So I glued the fine piece down, and then this piece here is going to go right in the center. And when you glue it down, you're going to notice that you have a larger half circle and a smaller circle or a rounded edge. So you want to make sure that when you glue this down, it's the same way as the way you stamped your sentiment. So I have that larger rounded edge on that side. I'm just going to glue this down. And it fits right in the center there, just like that. Then I'm going to glue these two pieces together, and then I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals. Okay, now we're going to put our flowers down. So remember, I did put the little mini dimensionals on the back. So I'm going to start off with the outside edges. So I have my red one, and then the opposite end, I'm going to do this violet one. Again, I will have the exact colors on my project sheet, so you'll know what order to put them in and how to put them together. It's very simple. And there is your rainbow card. And what's nice about this card is you can use whatever color card base you want. You can just pick any one of these. So this one is Calypso Coral, and I just picked that as my card base, but it's pretty with the gorgeous grape. It's pretty with the granny apple green. It's just really pretty with whatever colors you choose. And of course, you can choose whatever sentiment you like. And then on the inside, I'm going to bring back in the black ink and stamp our sentiment. And we'll glue that to the inside of our card. It says, have a blessed day. What a great sentiment. Faith is being sure of what we cannot see. Have a blessed day. So here are our 3 cards for tonight. So our first card was used just as it was meant to be, showcasing a classic floral arrangement. Very pretty. I love that textured background on this card. And then we did half embossing. We have a little strip of designer series paper. And then we did a rainbow card. This is perfect for any occasion and any color you like. So if you love these cards, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to get notified of new videos. Remember, I'm here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Sign up for my newsletter so you get your free project sheet. And you can purchase the Flowers of Beauty stamp set and the Unbounded Love sentiments at my online store. I have all the links in the description down below and on my project sheet, so they're easy to find. Thanks for sharing your time with me tonight. Happy crafting. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.